Sawadee Kap. June the 11th. Opportunity never sneaks up on those who straddle the fence on indecision. Successful people are decisive people. When opportunities come their way, they evaluate them carefully, make a decision, and take appropriate action. They know that indecision wastes time that could be spent on more productive tasks. They also avoid unnecessary risks by implementing their decisions gradually. I mean, that's a new thing, kind of rolled out. Well, we talked about milestones, so there is that, right? Small goals, milestones. So that's the same as implementing it gradually, but even inside a milestone, you can break it down into tasks that you have to do every day and just, a little bit at a time. Don't attempt to make every decision at the beginning. Each action is contingent upon the success of the one that preceded it. Or also don't move on until you're done. Don't leave a job half finished. That's also good advice. Benjamin Franklin, one of my favorite dudes of all time. He was a cool dude. Research him out. One of America's wisest men is said to have used a simple method to make difficult decisions. He drew a line down the center of a sheet of paper, and on one side he listed the pros of the decision, on the other he listed the cons. See that? I learned something. Me with my big thick glasses and giant head did not know that Benjamin Franklin was the inventor of pros and cons with the sheet. I do that a lot, and I didn't know it was Ben Franklin who came up with that. Very interesting. He listed the cons, and in addition to simplifying the decision-making process, the list also served as a graphic illustration of the advantages and disadvantages of any decision, regardless of its complexity. Yeah, to break it down and make it simple. Brilliant. Ben was a brilliant guy, and I'm not surprised that he came up with that. It is a great way to look at any decision you make, no matter how big or how small. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are the risks? What are the rewards? Cool. Awesome stuff. The impact of the decision could then be quickly and easily assessed. Yeah. It's it's funny. You're like, why are you so fired up about that, Greg? Why are you so excited about that? Like you're just making a piece of paper. I've done that before, or I've heard of that before, or whatever. Well, it's one thing to say you're on a budget, or you want to budget, or you need to budget, or you have a good idea of what everything costing you. It's another to actually write it down. If you keep a little tiny notebook with you and write down everything you spend, and then compile that into a spreadsheet at the end of the month and break down food costs me this much, gas costs me this much, insurance. In fact, what you do is do like car, and under car you have registration, license, insurance, gas. Oh, I needed new tires this year, so I'm good for another 3 or 4 years, but I spent $1,600, whatever, on tires. So you put all that down, and then at the bottom you get your average monthly spend, and your salary is your salary. That's usually the easiest thing if you're W-2 to get your income. If you're an entrepreneur, you got to add up your income and look at your bank statements, look at your deposits, and see what you made that month. And once again, the more you do that, the more months you do that, you want to do it for a whole year, you can average out, because as an entrepreneur, your income is going to vary. You're not a W-2 anymore. You're not getting that steady paycheck. So you really need to average. The longer you do it, the more accurate the number is. If you budget and record your expenses and your income for 1 month, your income could be drastically more the next month. And your expenses, for that matter, as I mentioned, getting tires on a car. You're not going to do that every month, but when it hits, you need to be prepared, and you need to make sure you have that money. Reserves, right? We talked about piggy minus vac equals eggy minus oi equals noi. 1/3 of oi, or operating expenses, is your reserves for replacements, to fix stuff that breaks, right? So you got a house, you got a car, you got to maintain them. If you're renting a house and you don't have a car, well, then that's not on your sheet. You don't have to worry about it, right? But the power of actually writing it down and seeing what you're spending makes you much more aware of your expenses. Most people who do that exercise, who sit down and write out a budget of their income and expenses, are shocked at the money going out. I spend that much on coffee. I spend that much on cable TV. I spend that much on internet. Really, you don't think about it. You sign up for these things. We've talked about them before. They're called subscription businesses, and every month they just debit your account, and you don't see the money going out, so you don't think about it. By writing it down, it makes it real, for lack of a better word. And it really helps shine the light on it for you and say, oh my God, I'm spending this much money. Every single person, and that's why I'm so fired up about this paragraph, because this is good stuff right here we're getting into. Every single person should know their monthly nut. What's that mean? What does it cost you to live in your current situation a month on average? Once again, the more months the better. On average, what's it cost you to live? What's your overhead? What's it cost to keep you running as a business, right? What's your rent? What's your mortgage? What's your car cost if you have a car? What's your food cost? What's your entertainment, going out, having a few beers with friends, whatever, partying? Everything you spend, every penny you spend every month, track it. Track it for at least a couple of months, and you will be shocked that it absolutely crystallizes it, makes it real, shines a spotlight and a magnifying glass on it, and now you'll know your nut. You'll know I need to generate $2,000 a month in cash, or $5,000 a month, whatever your nut is. You know you need that number to be profitable, break even. Never mind thrive, but just to survive, you need 2,000. So now you have that information. There's a couple of ways to play that game. Can I lower my expenses? Do I really need to pay $200 a month for cable? Or can I just get high-speed internet if I don't have it already? Maybe upgrade my internet for another $15 a month, cut the cable, cut the DirecTV, the satellite dish, and stream free TV on your smart TV, Netflix or whatever. I don't have a smart TV. I have an 8-year-old TV. Okay, they sell boxes. They sell Android boxes and Google Chrome boxes and Amazon Fire Sticks that let you stream on an old TV that doesn't have that built in. Right? So get rid of the $200 a month and add, if you need to add, if you don't already have high-speed internet, get faster internet, and that makes free TV possible and watchable and enjoyable. If you have a slow internet connection, free TV sucks, because you'll keep getting buffering and the circle waiting, the timepiece or whatever in the middle of a friggin' movie or a TV show you want to watch. So you've got to have high-speed internet to make that whole thing work. So once again, budget. Try to reduce your expenses if you can. Cut back where you can, cut back on unnecessary things, cut back on the spending that you think, when you review your budget, is superfluous, right? Like unnecessary. You really don't need that. It really doesn't add a lot of, it's not worth the money. Look for value in your expenses. I spent this much on this. Is it worth it? That's a good question to ask yourself, right? Now, you have the other side, the left-hand side, which is income. What can you do to increase your income? And that's what we've been talking about for a year now, right? The ideas, the opportunities, the plans, the teamwork, everything we've talked about in this book, and everything Robert Kiyosaki talks about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, everything in the 7 Habits of highly effective people, everything in Think Big, The Magic of Thinking Big, The Millionaire Mindset, T. Harv Eker, Tim Ferriss, 4-Hour Work Week, right? All those books are talking about how to get your income up. So lower your expenses if you can, but even if you can't, increase your income, right? So you want that ratio to be better than it is today. A little bit better every day. I'm earning a little bit more income than I did yesterday. I'm spending a little bit less than I did yesterday. Either one's good. But not until you sit down and do that process does it really become crystal clear to you. So when old Ben took pen to paper 200 years ago, 300 years ago, that's huge, because you got this problem and it's swimming around in your head with everything else that's in your head. What am I having for lunch today? And all that crap that's up in your head. What does he think about me? Or, do I look fat in these jeans? Whatever is in your head, you're not focusing. You don't have that clear focus required to solve the problem. By putting the problem down on a simple piece of paper with a line through it, pros, cons, good, bad, risk, reward, it's crystal clear, just like the budget we just got done talking about. You can't fail when you see it that way, because it makes it easy for you. And I have to do laundry today is not on that list on making that decision, because it's got nothing to do with it, right? So it helps you focus. It really does help you focus. I didn't know Ben invented it. I learned something new today. I'm happy. Anytime I learn something new, this old warhorse gets a little pony heart on or whatever. So yeah, good stuff today. Great. I've really enjoyed reading this book, for the better part of a year now. coming to a close soon, and it's nuggets like that make it enjoyable for me, and I hope once again, I hope you all are getting something out of it too. If you learn something new every day, it's a feather in your cap. That's cool.